Well, hello. This is Dave Smith with the Gem News Network and Cutting Conversations. And today I am just so happy to bring you Noah Trappier of Woodlap LLC. This guy, he is young and he is a mover and a groover. He does a lot of stuff. He cuts stones. He is the webmaster for the USFG. So he's not just a commercial guy, like he does volunteer work. He contributes to the community in a lot of different ways. And I'll say some faster's name. Oh, I know him. Oh, I know him. So he's like really socially connected and just a terrific guy. We spent the last couple of days together, and he's here. We're in Faster's Paradise. We're in Tucson all year, and of course now we're here during the Tucson show at the USA Fasteners show, and he's showing off his product, his wood laps and wood. I'm going to let him explain it, but let's start out. And first let's start out with, let's just go like, where'd you grow up? A little bit about, who's Noah?
Well, thank you, Dave, for the great introduction. I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I actually moved to San Diego. That's where I got introduced to gem cutting when I was 22. And then I moved to Arizona briefly after I got exposed to the gem show, and that's where we met, and I got to learn a little bit more about the industry and how to market yourself as a cutter and learn a little bit more of the ins and outs of where people take their interest in rocks and turn it into a career.
And then I called him because I thought he was in Tucson. He's like, oh, no, I moved away, man. I'm like, what? Come on, man.
So I did end up moving back to Indianapolis, and there I have my own cutting studio, a jeweler's studio, and my own woodworking studio as well, where me and my partner ended up starting Woodlap LLC about 2 years ago. And that was really born out of my cutting process and getting to learn how to troubleshoot my cuts as I was going and troubleshoot my polishing. And just by, like you said, being social, talking to people and talking to cutters with way more experience than me, just recommended polishing on wood and specifically mahogany. So that's been a big feature of our business, but we've expanded now into 6 different species of wood polishing laps, and even moved into grooved laps, jeweler's tools, and carver's tools as well.
Yeah, and they're really cool. Like, here, pull one out. Let's see. So, I'm learning stuff. I used to be in the wood business, and he's like, oh, I've got African mahogany, and I thought all mahogany came from Asia. Now, what is this?
So this is maple.
Maple.
And this is what I was going to show off our dual bands. So we take a lot of recommendations from the people that we serve, and that has shown up in one way as the dual band feature. So we add that as a feature of people like, so that they can add 2 different polish grits and do pre-polish and final polish on the same side of your wood lap. So
no, I think you mean pre-polish and final polish.
That's right. That's sorry. Pre-polish and final polish.
Always put the lower grit on the inside,
always
right?
put the lower grit on the outside and a finer grit on the inside. Absolutely.
Now hold up. I was looking at this earlier and I was wondering, I didn't talk to him about it, but it looks like you have a laser engraver?
Yeah, we have a laser engraver, so we custom engrave all of them.
So look at that. That is so cool. And nice thickness.
Mm-hmm. So a standard half-inch thickness gives you a lot to work with over time. You can use both sides of your wood lap and make the most of the material.
And this is then, I was talking to him too about, there's an insert.
Mm-hmm. So there's an insert to protect your wood lap when you screw down your spindle on your machine. And so this is a little polymer spindle that can be popped in and out for sanding and maintaining your lap. Some of them get a little.
Do you get one with every lap? Does it just come automatically?
You get one with every lap, absolutely.
Okay.
And some of them, they're supposed to be really tight in there. Some of them just kind of more easily than others, but that you can pop out. And once you've used your lap sufficiently, and maybe you want to change grits or change the material you're polishing, you can pop out your insert and then sand across your surface and really easily resurface your own laps and create a fresh new polishing surface with your lap.
That's really cool.
This one that we just looked at was maple, so that's our softest lap that we offer. Really good for fragile material, opals, things like that. This is actually our hardest. It's one of the hardest woods you can get commercially, called jatoba.
Jatoba. Now, where does that come from?
I'm not actually sure where the jatoba. I've got it all in my head. I know Purple Heart is the one we get is from Mexico, and the mahogany we source is from Africa. I'm not exactly sure on the jatoba.
Well, let's go back to this jatoba for a minute.
Absolutely.
Wow, I can feel like the weight of this 6-inch is more than this maple 8-inch.
Yep.
I mean, that is That is a dense lap, and they're so nicely finished.
Yep.
I mean, I do some woodwork too, so this is, mad respect. Jatoba.
Jatoba, yeah. So it's a harder wood to process, but it gives the cutter a nice tough surface to work with over time. As you're running material across it, it holds up to impact a little bit better. So all of our woods eventually, with a lot of use, you're going to work in some grooves, but the beauty of them is that you can pop out that spindle and create a nice flat surface for yourself again.
And I would imagine, not everybody's going to have a planer or anything like that, but just a piece of sandpaper on a counter, just like we do with ceramic and sintered laps, and do your figure eights. Yeah?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What else you got in your bag? He's got a bag of tricks over here.
So another product that we've just developed over the tips and advice from the gem cutters that we serve is a wood grooved lap. So this one is pre-cut with 3 different sized grooves in one of our African mahogany laps. So that gives you the option to cab on one side and flip it over and use the other side as a flat lap. So really gives you a lot of tools in one.
Is nice.
Yeah.
And I've sold phenolic and they only had 2 grooves. So this is really nice that it gives you, I would call like up to 12 millimeter, up to 14, 16, and then this guy you could
Like
do
30.
up to 30. Yeah, that's dynamite to have those different sizes.
Absolutely.
Because on a smaller one you want a little tighter curve. Yeah.
We have those adapted for a 6-inch as well. So we try to make tools that will adapt for the machines that people have.
And this is the mahogany.
That's the mahogany.
African mahogany.
African mahogany.
Oh, it even has it printed with his laser printer, of course. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. And this you kind of do by hand.
Yeah. So then a kind of sister product from the cabbing lap is our dop sticks. So these are a bit more sustainable than Bolivian rosewood, which is traditionally what wooden dops have been made of. But we've decided our Purple Heart was a better alternative. It's a bit more sustainable for us. Can be used, they're finished with shellac, so that helps create a nice bond with any lapidary wax you're working with to create a nice bond with your stone, so you can hold it with your hand. It's a nice, decent sized dowel, and can be used to cab, to if you do any buff tops, or they can be used to just do rounded girdles if you have a rounder ovulation.
And buff tops are like happening.
Oh yeah.
I had a guy come that had been doing buff tops in Bali for years because he was trying to make this things look older, like from like 1700, and then all of a sudden, I mean that was a few years ago. I'd never even heard the term.
Yep.
And so a buff top is a rounded top, faceted bottom, right? Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
So buff tops, but then also sugar loaves. Sugar loaf cabochons have become a really big thing.
Now what's that?
In the past few years. So it's a cabochon that comes to usually I think a triangular point.
So sugar loaf.
For really decent sized stones, and it keeps a lot of that weight on the crown. So these are a perfect lap for polishing those types of pieces. And for faceters, you come across a lot of different materials. So with that in mind, we try to provide, tools so that people can polish all of their material. And in that spirit, we also have polishing mandrels. So this is a setup we have to keep them all separate. But individually, we have different shapes, but primarily cones, different sharp cones and rounded cones.
And I'm proving, pardon me for interrupting you, but I saw this on the table and I thought it was a bunch of little garden gnomes trapped, but no, it's not. They've got mandrels on there.
Yeah.
That's dynamite.
Yeah.
Those are really, I mean, just the accuracy on these is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Yeah, and they're really great for, tough carving spaces and shapes that are really tricky to get a good polish in.
So this would be good for fantasy cutting.
Yeah, and
carvers.
We're developing more tools that will be adapted for fantasy machines, but for fantasy stones and carvings that you may polish by hand, these are perfect and would easily fit in a Fordham quick change or another hand piece.
Yeah, and then you just apply diamond with
or
oil,
oxide. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a phenolic lap or any other lap.
That's right.
What else you got over there?
So also made from our Purple Heart tools, we have various pushers and burnishers for setting colored stones into jewelry. So our 2 thickest ones are pushers. Punch tools. meant for being used with a mallet on the end. So really putting some weight behind moving metal.
Wow.
If you have decent stone setting projects.
And what's cool, just in my experience, metal, and I know people do set everything with metal, and but I've cracked a girdle or
Yep.
chipped a girdle with metal. So to me, wood is your friend.
Absolutely. And then we have burnishers with different ends available.
Very nice.
These can be more used by hand for kind of folding metal over stones. So that one's a flat head. This one comes to a nice point. And then this one is double-ended and can be used for setting prongs and bezels around colored stones.
That's so nice.
And then for bezels that you may do around like cabochons or bigger stones, there are these different ended pushers as well. So just providing different shapes that will really easily close in those metal settings around colored stones that you're worried about, like you said, chipping or abrading the surface of.
As we're sitting here talking, I feel like there's maybe a possibility is, because you're bringing things to these like insane little points, because we just taught people to facet last couple days, and we're telling them don't try to take a razor knife or anything to get the wax off the stone, because of course you want to do it fast. You don't want to wait for it to just dissolve. And so many times what I'm using is my thumbnail, but I'm sitting here looking at what you just showed me, and I'm like,
right.
wait a minute, we could have a little wax scraping tool made out of a super hard wood with a nice kind of a knife edge.
Yep.
You wouldn't have to worry about cracking your stone. But I feel like you got a table over there. Don't you have a darker 8-inch lap?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make him grab more stuff from his table over there. He's here at USA Faceter Show, slinging his products, and I'm really excited. After this, we're gonna go over to the machines, and we're gonna see these things in real life, because it's easy to sit here and talk about it, but to see it really bringing that polish, and there's those times where you want something like this to get a polish. Like I said, especially on certain quartzes and opal, this is the lap for opal. If you're cutting a fancy blue topaz, a tourmaline where you want those, super perfect facets, you're not going to use your wood lap. This is one arrow in your quiver. Look at that thing. Look at that. Oh man. That reminds me of the purple tortillas with the blue corn we get around here in Tucson.
That's right. This is one of our purple hearts, so we make it into laps as well. It's a great polisher. Really, really dense wood like the Jatoba and our oak laps as well.
Now that's your top of the line, I think, right?
The
Did I get that
Jatoba
right?
is the top of the line,
So-
but right below that is purple heart. Yeah.
So the hardest lap that's gonna, wear the best, and he's got the dual zone and non-dual zone, yeah?
Yep.
So
And then this is
really a great lap.
walnut as well.
Oh man.
This is one of
Is
our
that from America?
yeah.
American black walnut.
That's right.
Yeah. When I'm traveling in the Midwest and a little bit to the east of there, and you see these big walnut trees, I constantly there's fallen branches and stuff. I keep thinking, oh, I want to just stop and bring a branch home,
right.
because walnut is such a great wood. And I guess, you could use walnut oil on this.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and keep
full
it
circle.
really, really wholesome, Wow, these are really nicely made laps, just so beautifully sanded. And he makes them right here in America. They're
That's right,
USA
by
made.
hand,
Yeah.
and each one is just endlessly scrutinized.
Yeah. He's might be just a little OCD.
Yeah, that's right. As we gen people tend to be.
So now we've been introduced to these products. So what we're going to do is we're going to go move the camera and set up over on the Ultratech, and we're going to get some stones out, and we're going to polish them. And I'll see if I can take, we'll be doing some stuff, but we'll see if we can insert like some close-up photos to really see the dynamite finish that these wood laps produce. So
Absolutely.
Woodlap LLC, be back in a flash at the machine.
That's right. Let's go.
Yep, let's go.
Now we've got a freshly made mahogany flat lap in front of us, dressed with cerium oxide and WD-40 as the lubricant. And as a little demo stone, we have a included amethyst that should give us a great little experimental facet to play with and polish up here from a 1200 sintered lap we'll be polishing.
Let's see one of these in action.
So the last lap we had on clockwise, so now I'll turn on counterclockwise.
Noah likes counterclockwise.
I do. And we'll start with a pretty slow speed. And I'm just gonna find where we start to touch the lap. Do a few swipes and take a look. Sounds like we're right where we want to be. The 8-inch really allows you to maximize the speed and RPM range you have on a single lap. It's looking pretty good. I might lower us just a little bit. Be sure to be doing even sweeps across the entirety of the lap to keep it flat as possible. And then when you're ready to come off, just hold for a second at the same spot.
Oh man, that's starting to look really good.
Oh yeah.
Now you're using WD-40 and cerium oxide,
Cerium
is that
oxide,
right?
that's right. So it doesn't seem like we're increasing in temperature so much, so we can actually ramp up the speed a little and just see if we can round the edges some.
And then you might notice the wax job. This guy is a total wax monster.
That's right.
Of course, you know, I've lost 2 stones in the last 2 days, so I think I need to take a page out of Noah's book. Now let's get in there close. Let's see where you are right
Absolutely,
now.
absolutely.
You know, we're not at the end, but let's zoom in here.
Let me get
And
some.
look at that. That's looking like a mirror finish from over here.
Mhm.
Wow, that was quick.
Oh yeah.
That was quick. Hold it still now. Let me get this thing to focus if I can. Wow, that's really good. And then let's get it where it shines for the folks at home. Of course, it's kind of bright for you, but look at that. In like no time at all. Wow, that's great. I love it. If I can get this, there we go. Wow, that's incredible.
Oh yeah.
That's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's look at that. That's very flat. I'm really impressed with that.
Especially on your larger facets, the amount of rounding that you'll see on your edges will be more minimal on a larger facet.
I don't really see much at all. It's very flat.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but where it matters, especially for jewelers concerned about the breakage you may find on sharp edges, that's where it really comes in on that very edge to pull in a nice curve. But otherwise,
no
a nice
chipping.
flat, even coverage around the facet, and it's really gentle as you're polishing, so it allows you to really play around and find a great polish for each stone.
That's amazing. And then remind us which lap was this?
So this one is the exotic mahogany.
Oh yes, the mahogany from Africa.
African mahogany, that's right. Has a natural cross grain and is our bestseller. Helps maximize polish, which saves you money in the long run. Our 6-inch is at $75 and 9-inch at $8-inch at $95.
Yeah. So it's kind of your mid lap. You know, It's not the maples, the softer, and then what is it? Hatalba? What's the
Jatoba is our
Jatoba?
hardest.
Jatoba is the top of the line, and so this is kind of the mid-range lap.
That's right.
And I think it did a fantastic job on that quartz.
Absolutely, and when you need it on that problem facet or problem stone where you're just struggling to get that perfect finish, it's the perfect type of lap to bring out and finish the job very well.
That's cool. So you did WD-40 and cerium oxide, which is a cool combo. So you it sounds like you kind of recommend oil or WD-40, but folks can use water if they want to. But it's it's wood, so it's not maybe the optimal
If you do choose to use water, what I would recommend is adhering the lap to a master plate. So using a super glue or epoxy to just hold the wood as much as possible before you start to use water on your lap. Otherwise, an oil like WD-40 is going to do a great job of lubricating the lap, keeping your temperature stable, but not drenching the lap and causing it to warp and raise its grain.
Now, yesterday we were joking around because you have one that's walnut, and I said, well, walnut oil is easy to get.
Yeah.
I really wonder how that would work.
Well, and we encourage people to try different things because these are a really experimental product, traditionally used, but it allows the cutter to try out a lot of new techniques. And we already see a lot of people trying new things with our laps and really exciting concepts that you can take on with using a different material like wood.
And, yesterday we had an old timer in here, Big Jim, and he said, oh, they used to polish opals with big, maple logs that had divots in them for the curvature.
Yep.
So this is an old polishing method.
Yeah, pulls a lot from history, and we've gotten a lot of inspiration from traditional cutters from all over the world, and just trying to provide accessible polishing solutions for the market.
That's so awesome. So Noah Trappier of Woodlap LLC, he's here in Tucson at Faceted Paradise, and showing off his product. And of course, you can acquire those if you're here during the show at Tucson. He's here, and he's going to be at the USFG symposium.
That's right.
So he usually slings lap theirs on the last night. So hopefully you'll have lots of opportunities to pick one of these up if you want to.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Noah.
Thank you, Dave. We'll see you guys around.
All right, ciao.